Hey guys, it is Patrick here. I'm back at the B-Team News Desk. One of the most common questions we've had, or concerns, or feedback in the last couple of years as the market has done what it's done, is how are first-time home buyers supposed to get into the market? How's anybody going to be able to afford a home? And rightfully so. The market's gone up about 65% in the last 5 years. The average sale price in Niagara right now is sitting at 549,000 year to date. St. Catharines is sitting at 490,000 year to date. So these are big numbers, right? Numbers we hadn't experienced before. So rightfully so, there's a lot of people that are trying to feel, how am I supposed to get on that train? It's moving too fast. So we put together a little thing here just to give some of our thoughts, our sort of context or input on what you might be able to do to try to put yourself in the position to get on that train. There's a whole bunch of caveats here, right? Everybody's situation is different. Recognizing it is not easy. So we're not trying to glaze over or not recognize the realities that are out there by any stretch. So I know it's a really difficult subject for a lot of people, but we thought we put together some basic, some ideas or some concepts or some thoughts from us to you. You can use them as you wish. The one comparison I always make to getting into the home buying market is mountain climbing. If you woke up today and you said, you know what, I'm going to climb a mountain. I don't care what happens. I'm going to get on that bloody thing. I'm going to get up to the top. You wouldn't just get in your car, drive to base camp and say, all right, who's ready to roll, right? You would do some planning, research. You would check into things. You see what kind of shape you're in to be able to do it. You would plan, what weather concerns are there? Do you need a guide to get you up there? What about oxygen, blood oxygen saturation, all that kind of stuff? How am I going to handle the altitude? All these things that you would go through. Then you would train, you'd get to the gym and do all the stuff we've all been talking about doing before you get there on day one in order to give yourself the best shot to get up to the top, right? Getting into the home ownership market is no different. So you want to climb a mountain. Does it mean you're going to climb today? It might not. It might mean that this time next year, you're going to be at base camp, but you're going to be ready to rock. So with that analogy beaten to death, here we are with some ideas or some things for you as far as getting into the home ownership market. So step one, assess and evaluate. So this is where you're going to figure out what equipment you need to get up the mountain, what kind of shape you're in. So the financial side of things, financially, where are you at in order to get into the home ownership market? Down payment, closing costs, what dollars and cents do you need to have together, land transfer tax, legal fees, home inspection, all these things to know where what dollars are going to be required to do what you want to do. So step one with that is to consult professionals. So the mortgage qualification piece, a lot of people will go online, plug in some data, and boom, it spits out what you're qualified for. That's not the level you need to get to in order to do this with confidence. So you want to reach out to a mortgage person, sit down with them. You're going to go through income verification. You're going to get into the paperwork side of things. So it's more than just plugging in some data or some info online. Okay, so that's the sort of getting qualified, figuring out where you're at. Maybe you're going to talk to a financial advisor, that sort of thing as well. But the main thing is you're going to assess where you're at and evaluate. And the down payment piece is the big one, obviously. So there are different routes you can go. Perhaps you're going to borrow some of the down payment, pull it from an RRSP, various points, or you don't have enough yet. What do I have to do to get enough to get to the house or the property that I want to get to? So again, you're going to assess and evaluate. Step two, strategy and expectations. So this is a big one, and this is perhaps the most difficult piece of the puzzle. And it is this. I think the expectations of what that first home is may change, right? The expectation or the reality of what that first home might be. So rather than a detached home over in this area of the city, which you love, perhaps your first home is a townhome. Maybe it's a 3-bedroom, 2-story condo townhome, and you're going to live there, and you're going to live there for 5 years. You're going to make it your own. You're going to paint it. You're going to make it nice. You're going to decorate it, do all the stuff you want to do. And then in 3, 4, 5 years, 6, 7 years, whatever it is, you've built up that equity and off you go. So again, that first house may not be what you dreamt of, but remember, you're getting to the summit of your first mountain. You climb that first mountain, you say, holy crap, I just climbed a mountain. The second one is easier to reach. So again, evaluating and then you're going to come up with the expectations and strategy around how to get there. As well, when are you going to start your ascent? When are you going to look? Maybe right now the supply and demand dynamics and what you're looking for are way too volatile and heated. You're better to take a pause, keep track of things, keep researching, keep watching the videos and all that good stuff. But maybe right now you're going to press pause, and you're going to hang tight, and then you're going to jump up and start your climb in a couple months, 6 months, whatever the case may be. There is lots of advice out there on how to climb a mountain, but just make sure you're getting advice from pros, not your cousin's buddy Daryl who climbed a mountain 24 years ago. You get where I'm going with that. You want to talk to people that are in the real estate market right now, whether it's realtors, mortgage people, whatever the case may be, because there is so much advice out there, and lots of family and friends, they're well-meaning, their intentions are good, but they may not be tuned in exactly to what's going on. And I can tell you, I've been at this for a number of years. The market changes all the time, but right now, month to month, we have had about 10 different markets here in the 11th month of 2020. So you really need to be tuned into somebody who knows what's going on. So again, you're going to assess and evaluate where you're at. Then you're going to set up a strategy and reasonable expectations around that to get going and to get on the trail. Step 3, patience and perspective. So this is the part where you remember it's going to take time to get to the summit, to get to the top of the mountain. So you might twist your ankle, you might get the crap kicked out of you by a blizzard, you might lose out on 3 consecutive multiple offer situations, but that's okay because you're still moving in the direction you want to get to. So again, patience and perspective are so key. It might not go on the timeline that you want it to be, but you're going to get up tomorrow and you're going to keep climbing because that place, that house, that summit, whatever you want to get to, you're going to get there, right? And then having a strategy around that patience and perspective thing to keep your mental health in check. Do not try to resist the urge to be on realtor.ca at midnight looking for houses, devoting 99% of your mental bandwidth towards your move. Try to balance things out and temper that in order to keep your mental energy and your mental health in check. Because again, it can be a bear, right? When you're climbing up, your legs start to get tired and you think, what the hell am I doing? Just pace yourself, and again, patience and perspective. And again, you do that. You do all those 3 things. So you assess and you evaluate. You get all your ducks in a row, and then you have a strategy based around the reasonable house, a house that you can reasonably expect to be able to get. And then you're patient. You're going to find your house. And then so that brings us to the last step, which is 4, which is be proud and then plan. So be happy. You got to the summit. You're going to take the selfie. You're going to post it on Facebook, and you're going to tell all your friends and all that good stuff. But this is also a planning piece. And there's 2 questions you want to ask your lawyer, your realtor, your mortgage person, your friends and family, whatever it is. What else do you need from me right now? What do I need to get to you or get from you in order to get to closing date and have everything work? And what do I need to know that I don't know right now? There's so many things from all those different people that will plug into place in order to make the closing successful. So make sure you get that stuff nailed down. But this is really a time to get all of the T's crossed. So again, you're going to assess, come up with a strategy around those expectations, and then you're going to be patient and you're going to work and work towards getting that house that you want. And then when you get there, you're going to plan for a successful closing. The hardest part of the whole thing is right back at the beginning, and it's that down payment and the financial piece. So this is where you sit down with a mortgage person and you say, I want to buy a house. And I want to buy a house as soon as possible, or here's my finances. You're going to go through all the numbers, and they're going to work with you and say, okay, here's what you're qualified for. Here's what you can do. Here's what we can do to get you in the position to be able to buy. Maybe it's not this year, maybe it's next year, but it's you're on the track to get there. Some other things you can look at, you take possession of the house. Maybe you rent out a room to a friend or 2 friends, and then all of a sudden you've got, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year additional coming in to offset costs. So there's all kinds of different ways to get there, but the way to get there is to go and sit down with a professional who has climbed the mountain and helped other people climb the mountain. And then you'll find that maybe it's not right now, but you got a plan in place to get on the train, because the alternative after 5 years of renting versus owning is you can be looking at $100,000 swing, no problem, between rent paid out and then at the end of 5 years of owning that $300,000 townhome or $280,000 townhome, whatever it is, all of a sudden you've got $50,000 in equity plus whatever market appreciation has happened. Yes, I can't guarantee that the market's going to appreciate, but if you look back 20 years in the past, the numbers would show that it will. So again, you offset that to the cost of renting and you balance those numbers and you look and you say, holy cow, we're talking about a difference of $70, $80, $100, $120,000 after those 5 years. So it is a big deal. So my suggestion is sit down with a pro, really look at all your numbers, all your situation, and get an assessment of everything, and then get your shoes on and get hiking. So any questions on that? I'm sure there will be, because there is no one size fits all. Everybody's in their own situation, their own particular circumstance. So I get it. This is not going to fit everybody's feet, so to speak. If you have questions, if you want help, if you want to fire, questions specific to you, to us, anytime, genuinely, we are here to help. We're happy to chat, really genuinely. So reach out. Otherwise, we hope you're doing great and we wish you all the best. Okay, take care. See you. Bye.